Hi, I'm Carrie Chrisman, your Williamson County Republican Women's Legislative Liaison. I'm here with Larry Gonzales, your Republican member for State Representative, and he is in his office here in the Capitol. And I wanted to talk to you today, Larry, about just a few major issues, including the budget. I know that y'all have been working hard on appropriations, and the budget is always a hot topic for all of your constituents. Specifically, can you give us an idea of Medicaid expansion currently and what the House is considering?
Yeah, so, there are a lot of different topics when it comes to state government. But the big thing is the budget, because everything starts and stops with the budget. I mean, that's where the funding is for everything that you want to do. So today we talked quite extensively about Medicaid expansion. The Republican caucus did vote overwhelmingly not to endorse the expansion of the Affordable Care Act here in Texas. That begs the question then what? And that's what we're talking about now. If we're going to say no, which we did, then what are you going to do? Because Medicaid, regardless of whether the Affordable Care Act was here or not, either way, Medicaid is still an issue we have to deal with. And that's what we're trying to figure out right now.
Well, that's a great point, and I will mention Senator Nelson on the Senate side and Health and Human Services just recently passed a bill out of her committee that expands Medicaid managed care under a waiver program just for acute care and for long-term care, but it's on Texas terms. And so it's interesting to see how Texas works with the federal government, but on our terms. And so maybe we can work to still cover people, but not necessarily draw down federal dollars that have strings attached.
And that's what we're trying to do, is figure out a way that population of need still gets met, but under our terms and conditions, rather than using the money that I call bait, that they bait us into this, how the money works. It's interesting to know that, yes, the first 3 years are fully paid for by the federal government, and that's the hook, right? But as we progress, it becomes more and more the state's responsibility. But nothing prevents the Affordable Care Act from changing tomorrow, 2 weeks from now, 2 years from now, and all of a sudden it's all on us. And that's the fear, is exactly what are the parameters today, but what are the parameters 2 years from now? Because it can all change under our feet. And then what happens if we're stuck with it, and we're stuck with it at 50% or 80% or 90% instead of 3% right now. So that's the concern with the expansion.
That's right. I would completely agree. So we know that healthcare obviously is a big driver of the budget, but we also know education is important,
That's right.
and it also is a large portion of our budget. Share with us your thoughts on education this session as it relates to the budget.
Education is going to be funded more to the degree than it was last time. So there's money in there for growth, which is very important to districts like Round Rock ISD and Hutto ISD, both fast growth districts. That'll play very well. But we're also putting in more money into the formulas, about $1.5 billion into the formulas. So there's some pre-K money in there as well. You begin to see some things being put back, but we're being very careful with that. Just because it's there doesn't mean you have to spend it. So we're trying real hard to make certain that we do it very carefully.
Well, good. I appreciate your time today.
Absolutely.
And I just want to thank you for
good to
taking
see
the
you.
time
It's
and
good to see
talking
you.
to us. Y'all have a great luncheon today. Sorry we can't be there, and we will see you next month.